So we're at the PlayStation menu, and so you got to go in here, and you got all these menu options. So you go in here, and you can go to account, and you go to your emails, this, that, and you know, when you have a PlayStation 4 and you have the same menu option, you have to make sure you go in there and check these on a PS5, because I didn't check my PS5, and as it shows right there, it shows that I don't have that. And also, if you have a credit card, you want to make sure that you never leave it up there, because the PlayStation Store can bypass your password lock and actually charge your card. So I'm just trying to show people a lesson to make sure that you don't have any card information up here, because like your Venmo account, your Cash App, because the PlayStation Store, even if you have a password in there, in the PlayStation Store, because a lot of us, we when we go to the PlayStation Store, like we want to buy something, say I want to buy this. So these are apparently free games. Let's see when it costs money, but let's go here. So if I want to buy this game, I go here and say, okay, I want to get that one. Then it says confirm my purchase. Well, you see it says my password. Well, if your card's in the system, they will bypass your password. The PlayStation Store will do that. The PlayStation Network does that. And my main account is currently suspended because I didn't realize, I deactivated the auto renewal on my PlayStation 4 Pro, and I didn't realize that when I bought my PlayStation 5, it got auto renewal. It actually turned the auto renewal on. So dcuniverse tried to charge me $130 through the PlayStation Store. I disputed the charge with my bank after I contacted the PlayStation. I disputed the charge with PlayStation at first, and I ended up speaking to somebody who could barely speak English, and he went through a menu and he told me, oh no sir, I can't change your password, I can't refund your money. Well, the money was still in my bank. It was still showing that it was pending charge, so it wasn't cleared my bank yet. And so I told the guy, I said, I want my money back, because I'm being charged for a game I thought was deactivated on my auto renewal. He said, well, there's nothing I can do, and yada yada yada. So I got pissed off and I hung up on a guy after I cussed him out a little bit. And so I contact my bank, because as you see, when I buy something in the store, it requires my password. Well, PlayStation bypassed my password, and they charged me $130. So when I contact my bank, I spoke to a representative, and they, canceled my card and put up a dispute charge for the amount of money they were going to take, which was $130. And I don't know everybody, they don't really care, but $130 is $130. And if you're not going to be using a service, then you need to get your money back. And they didn't have my permission, because as you see, it requires a password, and PlayStation bypasses my password almost like a hacker would, and they charged me $130, and they say I can't have my money back. Well, when I filed a disputed charge with my bank, they canceled my card, they issued me a new card, and put in a dispute charge for the $131 that DC or the PlayStation Store was charging me for dcuniverse. So I'm trying to let you guys know that when you get a PlayStation 5, if you're coming from a PlayStation 4 or 3 or anything else, make sure you check in your menu to make sure that this password, it only prevents your friends and stuff. It doesn't prevent PlayStation from hacking into your system, because they're just gonna, well, you're renewing that for a subscription, so you're gonna pay for it. So anyway, I just wanted you guys to see that because my account suspended, and this is not my main account. My main account is suspended, and the PlayStation, they're holding me up like I'm some kind of bad person, telling me they want me to pay them $130, and I don't have $130 to give them. And so I'm a little pissed because I wrote DC Universe and asked them to, you know, look into how much money, because I used to play DC Universe a lot, and I put in thousands and thousands of dollars into that game because I used to buy all the cosmetics, I used to buy all the booster bundles and everything. And DC Universe didn't reply back to me either. They apparently don't care either because they just want their $130. So all these tech companies, you know, I just want you guys to learn that, you know, they're going to, you know, do what they're going to do, and they're going to get their money. And it's almost like gangster style operations the way they do this. And like I said, I would have never even paid attention to look in there to see, you know, if I had any subscriptions, because I deactivated on my PS4. And now my PS5, you know, on my main account, it's, you know, it has my PlayStation Plus's auto renewal too. So, you know, I was kind of wondering how that always renewed, but I didn't think nothing of it, you know, because I thought it was on an auto renewal. But the DC Universe I turned off on my PS4 before I converted to the PS5, because when I first got the PS5, I went through all these options, and I didn't realize that DC Universe was in this here area, and they were billing me for that damn game every year. So, you know, I'm a little mad because I spent so much money in, you know, the PlayStation since probably 2007 or 2008. And, you know, I just don't want anybody else to have this happen to them, because if they dispute a charge with the PlayStation Store is automatically going to suspend your account, and you're not going to be able to play any of the games. And, you know, I had a lot of games in my library, and on this account I don't have many because it was always a secondary account. So as you can see, I don't have, you know, I don't have very many games in here. So as you see, these are all the games that I have that are on the system. But on my main account, I have all of these games plus a lot more because I've been on that account for so long. So, you know, as you can see, there's little locks on all of them too, because I don't have PlayStation Plus anymore either. And all of these require PlayStation Plus in order to play them. But, you know, I'm not here to just complain. I'm here to also teach you guys that, you know, make sure that if you don't want to renew a game, that you turn those subscriptions off, because otherwise you're going to be like me, where you spent thousands of dollars and thousands of dollars on games. And like currently right now, you know, I like to play Destiny 2, and I bought the, you know, super expansion to the game and all the stuff that's going on. They just began a new game, Renegades, and, you know, I wanted to play that, and I got my characters all above 500 so that I could play those when it came out, you know, at a higher level. And I got suspended just before Renegades come out. So I'm a little pissed because, you know, I spent $130, I think, for that whole expansion, because I bought this super expansion. And, you know, I'm a little tired of this, because I tried to log into PlayStation Store, you know, the PlayStation Network. They won't let me log in. So, you know, they're basically like ignoring me now unless I pay them $130. And I'm not going to pay it. And, you know, my entire gaming system, all the freaking games I bought over all the years, are basically gone. You know, so this video is to gripe a little, but it's also to teach you guys, you know, don't turn off those auto subscriptions, because like I said, even if you put your password up there, they're going to bypass it and take their money. And I just don't want to see anybody else going through the pissed off anger I'm going through right now, because honestly, I would like to punch one of those guys in the head for what they're doing to me, because, you know, I spent thousands of dollars, you know, on DC Universe. I probably put like $3,000 or $4,000 into buying booster bundles, you know, character upgrade, vault spaces, different bases, everything you can possibly think in that game. Because I wouldn't, when I was married before, I couldn't buy all that stuff. And after I got divorced, I had so much money. So I started to spend it on video games because, I was spending so much time at home and, spend a lot of times with my dogs and, playing video games. So I spent a lot of money in DC Universe. And then, I got kind of bored with it and stopped playing it. And then, I just go in there every now and then to goof off a little and, show off my characters and stuff. And this whole time I didn't know my auto renewal for subscription was on. And PlayStation's just taking money out of my bank, and, I just want people to understand. I don't want them to go through the same bullshit I'm going through right now because I'm really tired of these, mafia style gaming systems because, it was a renewal for a year and I never played the game and they're still billing me for it. But even though I'm not doing it, even though I'm not playing the game, they're still going to bill you for it. Even if you contest it, and they'll say, well, you have an auto subscription, you're going to pay for it. And they're like Guido showing up at your door with a baseball bat saying, give me your money. And telling you, you're going to pay them. It's almost like some gangster shit, So anyway, I'm done with my gripe. But, thank you guys for taking the time to listen to my video because I don't want anybody else to go through the bullshit I'm going through because it's really frustrating because I did buy a lot of video games on here and I bought a lot of the expansions and I'm just pissed because I feel like, I just got robbed, blinded. Because for all the money I put into the PlayStation for all these years, it's all gone, and it's like they're telling me, well, you got to make a new account. Well, I already have 2 other accounts, but I'm not giving them, I'm not going to put any more money into it because I already bought this shit on another account, and I'm not going to plug my credit card in there, and I'm not going to go down to Walmart and buy a PlayStation Plus card or a PlayStation card just to put money in there so that they can try to siphon that money out so they can get their $130. So, like I said, and my Destiny account on this particular PlayStation account, my characters are all low. I mean, I think they're like level 10 and shit. So, 2 of them are level 10 and one's like 300 because I logged in and got this extra valuable shit. So, anyway, I just want you guys not to get taken to the cleaner with this effing company because they're like gangsters. They don't care. I mean, I wrote a long appeal apologizing to them, but I told them I'm not going to pay because I don't have the money and they don't give a shit. They just basically sent me another link right after I sent my appeal letter in telling me, well, if you want to get your account reactivated, you got to pay us $130. So they're holding my account hostage for $130 after I put thousands and thousands of dollars into these freaking games. So, it's a lot of anger, I guess you can say, from me that, I'm just pissed because all that money I put into the game and all the cosmetics and everything I put into DC Universe, I'm basically getting, punched in the gut and kicked in the head. So, anyway, I wish you guys a happy, successful PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 or PlayStation, Portal, whatever you guys are playing. But, just make sure you guys check that subscriptions because, like I said, here, I'll show you it again before I log off here because, go to your user account and click that and go down until you see that little thing where it says subscriptions, Well, actually, right here it says payment and subscriptions. Then go down here to look for subscriptions and make sure that says you don't have any subscriptions, because if you do, you can turn off the auto renewal on them to make sure you don't get taken to the bank like they did to me. Because like I said, I spent thousands of dollars and I'm really pissed because I can't even get access to my account. Well, I can, but I can't even get online, and all the games we buy now are all digital copies. So basically all the games I have are shit now. So anyway, you guys take care, and thank you for listening to my 15 minutes of bitching and my griping. So take care.